what just happened? Jacob's blood pressure is up. That's all it is. It'll settle in, Jacob. You know how it does. So, all right. Let's dive into the Elgton Jenkins conversation real quick. Again, I'm not going to give my take. Again, I did it earlier on that video. I did a live stream a couple hours ago. I want to get your all's take. Obviously, Elgton Jenkins returned to camp here returned to practice, I should say, for the first padded practice today. A lot of stuff kind of unfolded. Just to briefly give you guys a recap, he said he thought about the financial implications of moving from left guard to center at one point, but isn't anymore. He's focused on being able to perform for the team. He's saying the back injury was legit. He's also saying he missed OTAs because he had a family matter that he had to tend to. So everything he's saying is he wasn't holding out for more money, but he did approach them early on, which kind of lines up with the report. I think Jason Wilde reported on that first. So probably got that information from Elton's agent, I'm just guessing. But again, Elton showing up to camp, everything's good to go. Also, another thing he mentioned, I want to get your all's take on. Jenkins said he told the Packers last season that he eventually wanted to play center, his main position in college. Said he thought it would help the Packers get their best five out there. Said he took a little while to agree to the switch after team asked him to in the exit meeting. So, again, there's no other way of putting this. I'll start with you, Jacob, if you can hear me, nod. Yeah, you're good, ain't you? You looked at me. All right. So the main thing that stood out to me here, Jacob, is Elton going to the team and saying, hey, look, we need to get our best five out there. I can play center. Says a lot about how they felt about Josh Myers, right? Like Elton could see it, the writing on the wall, like, hey, look, our center position just isn't good enough right now. What's your all's take on everything we just covered? We can hit contract, whatever you want to do. Jacob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, it was actually pretty telling. I listened to that interview with Elton, and it is, again, just to the media tried to throw a bunch of fire onto this story, and I don't, obviously you guys may know this about me. I'm not a big fan of the media, either side, you know what I mean? So we learned, like you said, that he actually asked the Green Bay Packers organization last year that he could move to center. It wasn't like they forced him to. They asked him, the media today in that press conference really tried to keep nudging him, almost trying to get him to say something that was almost like detrimental to the Packers, asking him if he's worried about a pay cut, all this kind of stuff. I think that what he did was answer it in such a great way, like a regular Packer would, like a consummate professional. He kind of just blew that off and said, I'm here to be a team player, and when the time's come to get the money, I'll get the money, kind of thing. And I'm more happy than anything that he seems like he's ready to go. That if he did have a back issue, that seems like it's kind of shored up. He had some family stuff, it sounds like, that he had to take care of. And you see the selflessness in a guy like Elgton Jenkins that says, I'm willing to move to center. Like you said, I think he probably did see the writing on the wall with Josh, and understood that our best five. He even highlighted how we got Jordan, how we got Belton, guys that are high draft picks that need to get on this line. And he said, I'm willing to move to center if that means we have the best front five. And I really love that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Emilio, I know you've been out of the loop for a little bit. You've been back up north. Did they treat you okay up there, man? You good?
Oh, yeah, I did all right. Yeah, that wasn't used to. Clay, you give people the two hand or the two finger while you're driving to say hello. They get mad at you for doing that up north. So,
do they really?
Yeah. They get worried. Like, why are you waving at me? What I do wrong? Running them down.
Oh, what? You act like you know me?
Yeah,
you can act like you know me.
Crackhead. You got hold to the wrong stuff.
Right there, Tim. Emilio, does this picture not make you feel a lot better just seeing Elgton Jenkins at the center position, dude?
Absolutely. I'm honestly hoping that Elton could just figure out half of our silent count issue that we had this past year. I mean, I was pulling my hair out the fact that we had those false start penalties, not even able to get the snap count right. You got dudes on different side, even if it's a young guy next to Elton. I think that he can just kind of control that huddle a little bit more. Because, dude, he is touching the ball every time, just like Jordan Love. I think he needs to kind of have that mentality, have that sort of drive to be like, all right, I'm gonna take control of these front five. These are my guys. We're gonna make this wall. We're protecting Jordan, right? So I do think that Elton being there is gonna hopefully tie all that together, get him up to the second level. He can do all those things, but and just being the team player that he is, to be willing and able to, hey, I'll move to center, wherever you need me, coach. Put me on. I'll play nose guard if you need me on the other side, whatever.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think about this, man? I mean, obviously getting your starting center back in there, and you got a little bit of a look at Sean Ryan. If there's any positive, I think coming out of this, we gleaned a little bit more information that seems like Jacob Monk has slid back a little bit, and Sean Ryan's going to be your backup center, is what it kind of feels like. Which I think that's the way it was last year, predominantly, but seems like they're going to roll with it that way. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit with the team drills too. Sean Ryan was the center for the O-line group for most of those drills today. And then I love this shot right here on the Patreon. I mean, look at the confidence in Jay Money right here, getting behind Big E there at center. This is a good day, man. I've been saying this for a while, that if we can get consistent at the center position, that'll just help Jordan's confidence. And, much to the point of like, let's clear up some of this communication, and you got a veteran there at center now moving over. He can do this. He can handle it. And big shout out to Big E, we can speculate all we want, but at the end of the day, the pads just came on, and here he is ready to go. And we're ready to go bring Lombardi home. And I love it.
And think about that connection of dude already being there. Like, I mean, he's going to be under Elgton Jenkins for, I don't know, probably north of 1,000 times in, the next month and a half. I mean, it's like you got to be comfortable with the dude that's handing you the ball to start the play. I love that Elton's been there and that, he has that pedigree in Green Bay for that.
Yeah, and again, just to re-emphasize here, with the Packers, at least to the best of our knowledge, they did not add any guaranteed money. So if the contract still stands the way that it originally did, what you're looking at is his cap hit this year, $17.6 million. Next year, if they decide to move on, they can cut him. They'll incur only a $4.8 million dead cap, and they'll free up $20 million in cap space. So you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons here at the end of the season. If he plays all pro, you may bring him back for that $24.8, or probably look to bring that number down by converting some of that $18.5 million base salary to signing bonus and being able to free up some cap space, go a little cash over cap. When you look at the offensive line, according to PFF, they're suggesting it's going to be Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elgton Jenkins, Jordan Morgan, and Zach Tom, although some of the guys that are covering the team right now seem to think Sean Ryan is in the lead over Jordan Morgan at right guard currently. I'd be okay with that too. I could care less about the draft pick status, to be honest with you. I want the best 5 out there. And it's just nice to know that you got a first rounder waiting in the wing there. So anything – go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I saw a couple comments saying that it looked like Elton didn't say exactly what he wanted to say and that he was skirting around some issues. And a lot of people said they're not quite necessarily buying what he was saying, but just thought that he was a team player and he's kind of swallowing his pride. Did you guys get that at all? Did you get that vibe at all? To me, it seemed like that he was a little bit maybe frustrated somewhat, but I didn't quite get that impression. I think that the guy is, playing through or is willing to play through the adversity and kind of come out the other side and get that money. Did you sense any sort of that when he was giving his interview?
Yeah, me personally, just to be honest, Jake, dude, I can't figure out what the hell's going on in my own head most of the time. I'm not going to try to figure out what someone actually meant or what they didn't mean. It's one of my pet peeves, not anybody in the chat, but media members going, but he really meant this. How do you know that? You know what I'm saying? So I know this. What I gleaned from everything that was shared today was originally he let them know, hey, love to get some more guaranteed money, a little bit of security moving forward. But according to him, that's not what kept them out of OTAs. That was a family issue. It's not what kept them out of training camp. That was the back issue. So
I'm gonna tell you like Chris Tucker and Friday, man. Why are you always bringing up old stuff?
listen,
we talk about OTAs. We're at camp. The pads came on. Big E's at center. Hey, all is right in the world. Let's go, right?
He could be lying. I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't enjoy trying to pretend like I understand what someone's saying and they're not really meaning what they're saying. I just, like I said, man, I try to stay away from that stuff. I got too much of me to figure out rather than everything else. But I love what Ed Madden says here. Just glad to see Elton on the field.
Amen.
And there's no hard feelings either. That's what I love about it. I was a little concerned, will this mess up the chemistry? And that's where I tip my cap to Elton, because it'd be real easy going in there like, hey, these guys trying to hold some money, money away from me. And I will say this, somebody said earlier on the radio, I can't remember who it was. I think it was ESPN Milwaukee, somebody on there. They were like, yeah, they need to give him his money he's due. Guys, they are. This is what the contract reads. It's not like they're holding money back from him. He's asking for another bite at the apple, a little bit more guaranteed money. So that's the way the contract was structured, and it seems like that's the way it's going to stay there. So there's your Elgton Jenkins update. Anything else on that, gents? Anything at all?
I just thought this was a funny comment by Fishy Things. He says Green Bay fans have PTSD from years of cryptic Rodgers interviews.
Yeah. But it's not just Aaron, right? I mean, it's the cryptic interview, right? You don't want to give away too much of the what do they say? You don't want to talk shop in the public eye, right? So you got to kind of use that kind of interview speak sometimes when you're talking.
You know what, Blake B, you can't be saying this stuff. He said Elgton was still disappointed in his last experience at the Oval Office. Wasn't worth the cover charge when it's rusty undercarriage and the third stringers out there. That's not true. We put on a good show. All right.
Breaking news.
Sit your butt outside.
Unbelievable, man. It always comes back to the rusty undercarriage every single time.